we go.
And away we go. From coming
Hey,
to now showing. What's up? Did I move my? Are you moving me? Okay.
you good?
Now I
I
feel
can
like I'm.
move you if necessary.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
You got it. All right.
Well, I thought I had it, but I don't see my glasses. So I'm gonna have to do this or read the comment.
I got you. Oh, you mean the comments. All right, let's just open the show and get this started on the road. And away we go. Hey, welcome to the Black Filmmakers Lounge. It's Saturday morning in the industry shop talk. The Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, whether novices or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss the industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, with my co-host, Tamira TK Henderson, and we are hanging out today. What is up? Good morning, TK.
Good
How you doing?
morning. Happy Saturday morning to everyone.
What's up? If you are joining us, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Say
you. Thank you.
hello.
Thank you.
Um,
Please say hello because sometimes we feel like we're just talking to each other like on the phone. So of course, when you guys interact and add stuff because you're all professionals in this industry. So yeah, anything, jump in, talk to us, talk to us, talk to us.
let us know what you've been watching because we're about to get into our What You've Been Watching segment of the week. Good morning, Renata. How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
Yes, yes, y'all. So,
So what you watching, Michael?
I you're supposed to start first. Uh no, we just whatever way we're gonna do it.
No, I don't have anything.
Oh really?
I
Oh
don't have
man,
anything. I've been on a new gig. Like I said, I've been on a new gig this weekend, so I haven't
big
watched
grinding.
anything. But I have a premiere Monday, so I'll watch that, and I may watch something tomorrow. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Um, thank you, Renata. Appreciate it. Darrell, what's up? Good morning, brother.
Hey,
Um,
don't.
so I have I watched Power, of course, last night, book two, Ghost. Um, we watched Bel Air.
Okay.
Um, Mandalorian. The final season of The Mandalorian ended
Oh,
this week on Wednesday. Um,
final season, final show, final to everything.
season finale, season finale.
Oh,
So
season
they got a
finale.
season
Okay,
four
okay,
coming next season.
okay.
We watched we watched the entire season of Beef.
Is
It,
it is it a mini series or is it actual
I
season?
don't
Season
know if
like
it's
10
an
episodes.
actual mini series or a season. So good morning, Tone.
Hey,
Um,
Tony.
so Beef so far looks like a season. Like the way it ended, you would like to say, "Oh, they're gonna come back. What's going to happen?" But it was good. It was actually pretty good, and really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Had some conversations around it. Been having some power conversations. Um, so I think it just varies. Tone said she's been watching Ghost and Snowfall. I know Snowfall had their season finale. I got to get caught up on Snowfall, one show at the time, or not one show. And Darrell said, so let me throw that up. Darrell said he's watching Rylane, Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, okay, Bel Air, Abbott Elementary, and The Mandalorian. So there we go. Oh, Raynetta says she started watching Ozarks.
Ozark? Oh,
Ozark.
Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark. Sorry. I don't
I
know why I
heard that
said
was
Ozark.
really good.
I heard that too, and I have
I
never
heard that was
started
really
watching it.
good.
So,
Me either. They were like, "Oh
um,
my god!" They said it's kind of
yeah.
slow the first seasons, and then I think the third season it really gets good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good morning, Felicia. How you doing?
Hey,
Thank you everybody
Felicia.
for joining us this week. I know we got the message like people like we didn't know you were coming on this week, like last week. That was funny. So um, Felicia said she's got to get caught up on Snowfall. Me too. You know, I gotta sit down. I guess that's the new show I can now
Oh,
watch.
she said, "Or Ozark
Ozark is
is
good.
good."
Ozark is good. Okay.
Okay.
So Felicia says Ozark is good, so we'll have to check that out. I did have um, some Netflix shows I was watching. Um, so that was interesting. I like watch animation, you know me. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard because I got to remember what I watched because I watch a lot of stuff, right? And there's tons of stuff out there like Hulu. I got pretty much almost every subscription service from um, Amazon Prime to Hulu to Disney to
You got them all.
Paramount Plus, and you know, it's just Peacock. I got pretty much all of them. Tubi's free. You know, that's the only one I ain't got to worry about paying for every month. You know what's odd? I don't spend as much time on Tubi because I am paying for the other services.
Mm.
But it's not
Mm-hmm.
because I'm paying for the other services, but because there is like newer, fresh content. Not to say Tubi doesn't have it, because Tubi does.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of independent films are on Tubi, and I've seen a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to, unfortunately, when I think about it, Tubi doesn't promote like they should. Should I say that?
Now
That's
that's a very interesting. You say that if they spend all that money on a Super Bowl commercial, but yet they don't promote on a regular basis. That's interesting.
right. I remember that Super Bowl commercial, right? But I have yet to see another Tubi commercial or any
Hmm.
commercial since that Super Bowl commercial. You know, and that got a lot of attention, but
Mm-hmm.
Tubi doesn't really promote or advertise. And you would think that it's important that someone who's making money off of advertisements would promote and advertise more. Because the simple fact is, when I watch Peacock, there are commercial ads running. When I watch Hulu, they have commercial ads running. When I
Mm-hmm.
watch, um, I think those are the two ones that have the commercial ads that run. Because Paramount Plus we pay for. We get Peacock through our local cable. That's part of the cable plan, even though we were like trying to decide to cut cable. Um, it's a
You
hard
pay
place to be.
because you're paying all those streaming services, and then you're paying for cable on top of that.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, we're filmmakers. We write that off when you think about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're studying the industry. That's your education for the industry. So you put that in your taxes. Um,
Felicia says she watched All American. I stopped at season 2 and I haven't been back yet. And I love the show.
yeah.
I see a pattern with me. I go
What's
all
the
the way to
pattern?
season 1, season 2, and then
You know what? I am gonna start watching Dare Mama, the Tupac Feeney
oh my
Shakur
god.
documentary that just dropped the other night.
Yep,
Um,
it dropped on the 21st. I seen that
yeah.
and I was like, oh my god.
So I'm definitely watching that. What's up, Jacoby? Mandalorian,
Jacoby.
huh? What's up? It's been a minute, brother. We gotta definitely we need to bring you back on the show to talk some camera stuff. To have that camera
Yes,
conversation
Jacoby.
because
We do.
you know, let me
Yes,
know,
we
bro.
do. Before you get
Um,
busy. Can we get on your schedule, please? Thank you. Him and Derek.
Uh,
Derek, can we get on your schedule, please?
I know, right? We got
Brandon's
to
been
get caught up.
busy. Everybody's been busy.
So there are some shows, some things, content coming out. Oh yeah, I did finish the Wu Tang. I think I mentioned that before, right? Did I? The Wu Tang saga had ended last week, I think. The
You said you're
last
going to
episode
watch
was
the
trying
final
to.
episode.
You still haven't watched it?
No,
Did
I'm
you
still
watch it?
behind.
You're still behind.
I
Mm-mm-mm.
haven't watched anything. I get in those seasons where I'll watch stuff, and then I'll get in those seasons where I'm just like not watching nothing. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is, but I'm now that I'm thinking about it and talking about patterns, that I literally I will start watching, and then I'll stop, and then I won't watch
Mm.
anything. That's interesting. I wonder why that is.
I want to give a quick shout out to my brother Leonard Boyd. It's his birthday. You guys will see him as
Happy
Job when he
birthday
pops
to
on. If he
you.
when into me, he
Happy
pops on because he'll
birthday
probably pop on
to
today.
Leonard. Happy birthday.
There we go. TK had to do it with soft voice. Yeah, I do it with the boisterous voice. Happy no. But yeah, I talked to my brother this morning. Wish him happy birthday. That's only God, man. God knows. Hey, call your brother. Call your peoples. It's that brotherhood you create with those around you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's my boy. I mean, that's when I was doing music, rapping and stuff. That's my boy. I could play some more old songs if y'all want one day. Now, could, but I've been watching. I've been trying to get caught up on certain things and looking at what movies are coming out because it's interesting because of COVID. I think they slowed down on the quality of movies that they were releasing because they weren't filling up the movie theaters, and they're still not. A lot of movies are losing money. So, but the interesting part is if you see these new slew of trailers for films coming out, it's kind of making you want to go back to the movies.
Yeah, like I said, there's 5 of them I have listed that I want to go. Well, now 4 because I seen 1001 that I wanted to see just based off the trailers when I watched Creed.
And did you know now 1001 is now available digitally?
I'm not surprised. That's what I was telling the guy who's one of the guys who's looking for money for my film. I
Mm-hmm.
told him, it limited theatrical release, but I was explaining to him that the limited theatrical release production is not like it's only 2-3 weeks, or sometimes, like I said, Peacock will run it simultaneously. So
Mm-hmm.
it's different. The releases are different now. But yeah, I'm not surprised because Creed was available. What 1001 came out 3 weeks ago. So yeah, it's available digitally because it came out on the first or 31st. It came out. Didn't it come out March 31st? So that's exactly
Was
three
it the
weeks. That's
31st or because I thought it was a couple weeks ago. I thought it just
um.
literally just recently came out, like
It
within
did,
two
but it
weeks. I don't even think it's been
has it
3
been two
weeks.
weeks.
I think it was
So
two
it's
weeks.
2-3 weeks. Okay. So they're putting these things out. I'm just looking at the release date. Yeah, release date March 31st.
Oh,
Three
okay.
weeks later, it's streaming.
Yeah. Well, I saw it Tuesday, so it was really two. Like now it's 3 weeks because of today we talking,
Oh,
but
gotcha,
when you
gotcha.
really
Yeah,
think
so
about it,
two
it was only
weeks.
been out 2 weeks, 14 days. And I remember when we talked about the industry that shift because of
Yep,
the agreement with AMC and Paramount on 14 days,
yep,
right?
exactly.
And it's actually happening. A lot of films are available right now digitally. And it kind of depends on how well they're doing in the theater, how many seats you're filling up. But you got to think about it. Avatar, stayed for a while in the movie theaters because it was making lots of money.
Hmm.
Black Panther was there for a little bit because it was. I mean, Black Panther made in 4 to 5 weeks, it made over 900 million. That's
And it
quick.
only stayed. I think Black Panther only stayed what
800
four
something
weeks?
million.
Did it
Yeah,
say 4 weeks in the theater? Yeah.
before it went to, and same
Hmm.
thing. Creed was there, and so, but like right now, the movies that aren't doing as well, um, they're hitting. They hit. It's funny. They hit a little bit slower. Yeah, I've noticed that. Like it takes a little, but the movies that are doing well, they get them out quick. Like, hey, get them out. All right, we filled up the movie theater. All right, now let's get it digital because now we'll catch those people real quick. So it's kind of like grabbing that money fast.
Mm,
So
well,
there's
that's
that
interesting.
shift, and it's going to shift again.
And speaking of shifts, talking about the writer's strike. So 4:30. If you guys have ever looked up the WGA minimal scale,
Mm-hmm.
the dates on top of it, for instance, the last dates on top. So let me make sure I get it right. Or 5/1, 2020 to 4/30, 2021, and then it's 5/1, 2021 to 4/30, 2021. I'm missing the number, so it's 1, 2, and 3. Actually, it's 2020, 20, it's 2021, 2022, 2023. So
Mm-hmm.
every time they put it out, there is a 3 year, there are three lanes, and
Contract.
they tell you, yeah, they tell you how much each year it goes up, but they put it out and it's 3 years worth of amounts. And so that particular it starts 5/1 and then it ends on 4/30 of each year. So in 8 days, that particular contract is up. And a friend of mine sent me a video, and it was TV writers, and they were breaking down how much, like for an episode for a particular TV show, they will get 2,300. Well, that
Mm-hmm.
same episode on streaming, they would get $700.
Okay.
And one guy said he even got a check for $23. And it was like, so they're doing all these same, the TV industry and the industry itself is doing all these major productions with all of this money, but they're finding cheaper ways to not pay the writers, or when they go on these platforms, they're not paying the writers what they should be making. And
Okay.
they were saying, and then they were also saying about writers that have been on a show for 10 years or in the business for 10 years versus somebody that just came in, they're getting paid the same thing. And they were like, who do you know that works the same job for 10 years and get paid the same? They're like, it
Teachers.
doesn't. So, so there, that's two of the things in the video. It was a really, really good video. But,
Okay.
and they were kind of breaking down because most people just be like, oh, the writers get paid a lot of money. And they were like, yeah, that's what you guys think. But it's not like that.
Right.
It's not like that. Oh, you're pulling it up so you can see. Okay.
So yeah, if
Um,
this is the Writers Guild, this is the East Coast. There's the East Coast and the
oh,
West Coast.
yeah,
Um,
the minimums usually is the minimums on this because it's usually on the WGA West.
is it on the WGA West? We
WG
can
West,
go to the.
and that's usually where you register your scripts as WGA West, unless you use
You can do it
the
both.
U.S. Department of Copyright.
Yeah, you can do it on both. Um, oops, you can do it on both. The WGA. Oh, I don't.
Hmm. I have to go get my glasses. I'm
We gotta let
like,
TK
I
get
keep
her
leaning in
glasses.
like this to get my glasses. So I can see.
Um, Let me write in WGA was.
Yeah, I'm going to get my glasses. Hold on.
So we're gonna re-bring this up for you. Notice the two sites look different. Um, so we are, WGA, for those who don't know, is the Writers Guild. So Darrell said I was looking into the writers' strike and why they were striking. It's a
What
crazy
happened to
thing.
it?
They have, huh? They have
Yes.
many
And that's what
rooms
they were saying
now,
also about the
and
mini
for
rooms,
TV
Darrell.
directors, it's getting crazy too. So,
Yes. They
um,
talked about that on the video about the writers' rooms. And then, and also, there, I'm sorry, I just jumped on in there. Is that the WGA West?
yeah,
Oh,
that's
I mean, East?
WGA
Okay, that's
West
easy.
looks different than the East.
Um,
Yeah, it's just
um,
WGA.org. That's what it was. I don't remember.
yeah.
Dues,
So they were
earnings,
saying
residuals,
also,
pension.
go down
So,
to minimals, the minimal scale. That's the one I was talking about. It should say schedule of minimums.
do we see it on here?
It should be on the, it might be at the bottom, or it's a
Schedule
PDF
minimums. Here we
thing.
go.
Yeah.
All right.
Um, so they were talking about the mini rooms, and they were also talking about how they're hiring writers to write like 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
and the episodes may get produced, and they may or may not get produced. And they were like, well, first of all, it doesn't matter if you choose to produce it or not. If you hire us, you pay us what we're supposed to get paid. So, yep, they were talking about that too, Darrell. I was just like, oh, y'all gotta come, y'all spending all this money on these films
So
and
you
don't
got
want to pay these people.
compensation, theatrical compensation, first period, second period, third period. And this is why it's important. This is where we say all the time, it's important to do your research. It's important
Mm-hmm.
to know the different organizations and guilds. Here's television compensation for lengths of a program that's 15 minutes or less, 30 minutes or less, 60 minutes or less. Like they break these down for you. Um, Now, there is a difference between somebody who's in a union or a guild versus non-union, non-guild affiliate, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you can also work your contracts differently. And here's what I tell people. Um, when I first got in business and told people about businesses, the first thing I would tell them is negotiate your percentage. Like if you're taking less up front, then you should be trying to get more on the gross growth of it, the project. If a project makes money, cool. If it doesn't, you lose. Just like the person who's producing it, they're gonna lose. However, if it does more than break even and starting to do really well, then there's a check coming to you all the time as long
Mm-hmm.
as it's getting a check. Um, it does. They do that with the guilds and the unions too, but you as an independent, not part of those guilds, you need to work in those contracts, and you have to be willing to say, and I have to say this to everybody, no. If you're not willing to say no and you say yes to everything, people will treat you however they can get away with it because you're constantly saying yes. I don't mind taking a hit. I learned in early stages of being a business person and working corporate America at one point, um, take the hit because you're
Mm-hmm.
either
We've
going
been
to take
taking
the
we've
hit
been
up
taking hits
front
all this time.
or you're
You
going
might as
to
well
take it
take
later.
the
Yeah,
hit.
you're either going to take it up front or you're going to
Yeah.
take it later, and usually later is more costly.
So I lie, guys. It's not the columns, but it's 3 pages. So if you scroll
Mm-hmm.
down, you're gonna see the next date. It'll be the same exact page with different numbers, slightly different, but it'll be a new date on the next page.
But this is
So
what people get paid to do this. Just
that's the
showing you.
minimal, and a lot of people don't know this. So I charge. See, then the date changes, so it should be 3 pages of that, and then the next one should
Mm-hmm.
say, "Is it 5?" But a lot of people ask me, they'll call and ask me how much I charge for a script, and when I tell them, they're like, "Oh wow," and I'm like, "I charge a fraction of what I would charge if I was in the union." And they're like,
Oh
"Well, are
yeah.
you in the union?" And I'm like, "No, but I charge a fraction." But the fact that you don't even know close to what it costs to write something, so it's like people doing their research who are wanting to hire people. It's
Mm-hmm.
like when we want to hire crew and make sure everybody's getting paid right. That's the first thing we do is look up, kind of a range of what people get paid
Let's
in
just show
certain
you.
industries.
Look, here's
Look how
here's
much
the
a
cost.
rewrite is. Look how much a
Yeah,
rewrite is.
right. 26 to at the and then depend down. These depend on the budget of the film, right? Low
Hmm.
budget, high budget. Think about that for a second. It's based on the budget of the film, so keep that in mind too, right? Um, so at the highest, you're making 100. So like, let's take Netflix for instance.
Without
I don't know.
and this is without percentages, guys.
Yeah, this is what your compensation. This is your
Hmm.
pay. If you take something like Netflix had Bird Box, and they were required to pay um, the writer um, compensation. Well, into it all totaled to 1.3 million. Keep that in mind. They had to pay out 1.3 million. So TK Groove,
Well, it makes
like
me happy. Any
right.
screenwriter, any of us that who are screenwriters, that make us happy because we get paid. We put the percentage on it. It does well, and we rewarded for the content that we did was really good content. So that makes all of us writers, happy for one film,
Hmm. So
1 million. Come on.
yeah, it came out to a total of, because there's compensation for not being paid enough in the first place, and then it was like, this is what you're also owed. So it ended up as a total of 1.3 million. Probably a little over that, but that's from arbitration too. That's court arbitrate. The arbitrator said, "Hey, this is what. Yeah, your contract says this, but we're going to say this is what you need to do." So keep that in mind. But look at this. Week to week term employment. This is per week to week. See this? What somebody
Hmm.
should be making per week. People aren't considering that,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. Now he
Um,
might get blackballed, so he got to say that 1.3 million. So,
may or may
but
not.
hopefully he
It
won't.
just depends.
Hopefully he won't. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully he won't
Yeah.
because he did good work and he deserved to be rewarded.
But
Period.
these are
When
the
you do good work.
so you should be going to this website and downloading this if you're a writer. You should
Hmm.
be, if you're writing your own stuff, you need to know um you need to know, sorry, something popped up on my screen. You need to know your worth. But remember, this is a union. These are people in a union, right? So most independent filmmakers are dealing with non-union, right?
Hmm.
Um, but you have to respect the people you're working with. Look at this. This is something that's 15 minutes or less.
That's 15
This is
minutes or
for the
less.
story, just the
Hmm.
story. Look at that, right? The teleplay, first draft, final draft, plus final draft.
Hmm.
Look at this. And I again, I'm talking about 15 minutes or less.
Hmm.
Y'all be trying to get full movies. So when people giving you deals, you need to respect it. I remember, and I'm gonna give you, this is just a perspective, because this is when I had to say no. Michael Melvin, I had to say no moment. I was called
Dum dum
to
dum. Oh, okay, sorry.
film a low budget commercial for someone, and remember, I got cameras, I got lights, I got mics, I got equipment. That's what I tell people. But you're not hiring me because I have equipment. You're hiring me because I have a skill set and I have a
Yes.
style, and I do what I do and I know what I'm doing. So um, when the person called, I said, you know what? I'll do it for $800. That's cheap. That's actually cheap to me. That's very cheap. It was just a commercial, 30-second commercial. Person turns around and goes, $800, that's a lot of money. And I was like, okay, you're not prepared for this, are you? And he's like, well, I thought it'd be cheaper than that. I said, why did you think it'd be cheaper than that? Did you do any research? Well, no. So how much did you think you were going to pay? 200. I'll shoot it with my iPhone. No mics, no nothing. I'll do that for 200. He's like, wait, I could do that. I said, nah, you can't, because I have a skill set that that I learned how to produce movies and films and stuff. You don't have that skill set. You might try to do it, but you weren't educated, trained, and have years of experience. The difference. But I told him, I broke it down for him. I said, so let me help you out, honestly. I said, $800 is cheap for a commercial. It's cheap. It's very cheap, extremely cheap. I said, by the way, if I run a commercial on television quality, if I run it for a year, divide that 800 by 12 months.
Hmm.
Do that. How many weeks in a month? 4. So divide it again. Right? And I said, there's your cost. And talking to him, I could see he felt a certain way, but I was trying to explain. If you look at it, right, let me just give you a ballpark number. It's about $67 a month. Think about that for a second. I'm running a commercial that I literally just paid $67 a month for. Now, it really should have been way more than that. I mean, people get commercials done for $20,000, $30,000. But his was very basic. I knew what I would do. I could knock it out within a day. So 800 wasn't bad. And he had no idea what he wanted. It was just whatever I came up with. So if I'm coming up with the idea, the concept.
And you come up with the whole concept and idea and everything?
I was helping him out. I was trying to help him out.
Oh my God. You came up with the whole concept. You had the equipment, you had the skill set, and he didn't want to pay $800.
$800. And I was right to saying no. Because the unfortunate part is, remember I said divide that. That's $800 a month divided by 12, which is roughly $66.66 or whatever, but I round up. So $67. If I divided that again by $4, that's $4. That's $16 a week. You can't pay. That's not even minimum wage.
That's out to eat. That's out to eat at freaking Taco Bell right now one time.
So are we starting to understand this? Like, as a business person, you have to break down the mindset you have. When you think something's expensive, you're just not prepared for it. Right? You can negotiate.
Crazy.
He could have negotiated something, but like at the end of the day, $800 was cheap at the time. You couldn't even get me for that because I actually wasn't doing anything under $2,500 at the time. But I kind of knew the guy. I wanted to help him out, but you can't help people who don't want to help themselves. So yeah, that piece. Like, so that's.
I'm not even going to go back and forth with you. This is what it is. This is why it is, and let me know what you want to do.
So let's think about this for a second. Let's take 15 minutes or less.
That's network prime time. So they have they'll tell you like it's which kind of stations to mirror. So it'll go all the way to streaming.
Yeah, ABC, CBS, FBC, NBC.
That's your prime time.
And this is 15 minutes or less. Now, what show you watch 15 minutes or less, first of all? Now, let's think about this, right? To write the story, just the story. This is 2023 right now. We're in 2023 before May. $5,166. That's what you need to compensate them for.
For 15 pages.
Or less. That's if they wrote one page.
And I'm charging that for 90. And they be like, oh, what? See what I'm talking about? Do you see what I'm talking about? This is what I'm trying to say.
So, and then again, installments. Here we go. But again, the story and the teleplay, the whole thing. So I'd say this.
Less than 15 minutes. How much was that? Is that $15,000?
Yeah. $15,518.
For 15 minutes or less for the story and the teleplay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. That's why you do your research. Like you said, you're not ready because you haven't done your research.
Right. And now, like for me, I download PDFs. I have a whole file folder of the guilds and their compensation and all that. There's books that will tell you that. There's directories. There's pricing guides. There's all these things available. I know we're not getting paid from these people, but
and Darrell, I'm gonna tell you, Darrell, and you need to put when in the budget, you need to put your pay in the budget. Put your pay for editing, put your pay for directing and creating the show. You still need to put it in the budget. Because if someone comes and asks you how much yeah. No, for real. Because
you do. Listen, even if you don't pay yourself, this is what you owe yourself. Think about this. Here's the thing. Why you keep track of numbers, even if you aren't paying it out. Here's what happens. Let's say you do get a distribution deal. Let's say someone comes and negotiates and wants to buy to distribute your material. They go, what was your budget? Even though you didn't pay it out, actually on a budget sheet, it is what your estimated expenses are,
Mhm.
what you actually spent. And so you have that. The problem is we don't keep track on the independent level. A lot of people don't keep track of their expenses.
Mm.
They don't keep track of what things are going to cost. They don't research costs. I remember I was doing like a magazine show for someone, and I was giving them helping them out, trying to help them grow. But I told them, I said, the price is going to change. Don't get used to this. I'm only doing this part to help you out. And that's the part people don't understand. When you say these words to them, I'm trying to help you out, the price will change. They think the prices stay the same. They want to pay low dollars for work that really will cost, right? And so what I did is I had a notebook of different companies locally and around the area and outside the area, and what it would cost to produce their show, a 20-minute show, what they would be charged for editing, for camera work, what they would be ultimately charged. So when she came with a lot of problems, oh, well, that's a lot of money. I hate when people say, listen, I will tell you this one thing. And it's a quote I heard a long time ago. I can't remember who's the one said it. Said, and this is, I'm going to tell my people, said, our people, we don't ever have the money when it comes to being up front in the beginning, but we will always find the money to fix it on the tail end, and it usually costs even more.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we just find the money up front, period, and not have to worry about the tail end, because it costs more on the tail end. If you don't have the money up front and then you make all these changes, those changes cost you money. So you're going to pay more money on the end, and you'll find it. For some odd reason, you always find the money. That's ridiculous. That means you can find the money up front. If you don't have it up front, you go make it. You put it aside. You put it in the bank. You do some things. Make some investment. What is it you have in your house? There's a scripture. I'm going to get a little biblical going. There's a scripture where this woman loses her husband. The debtors come to collect. They're going to take the children and enslave them and make them work to make the money off. She goes talk to a prophet. Prophet says, what do you have in your house? She tells him, I got this oil canister. He told her, go get as many oil flasks as you can from your neighbors and fill them all up until it runs out. And she could have kept filling it. But in her mind, she made it run out. I used to be the king of, if I don't use it, I'm going to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
People used to ask me, how do you get stuff that you want? That if I don't use it anymore, it's probably worth selling. Because somebody else might want it. Somebody else might use it.
Right.
I'm not afraid to sell something. If I'm not using it, what's the point? It's taking up space. Clean the space.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could put that money together. Right? Take on other work. You put that money together. If you know you're going to make a movie, then go find something to help you make more money to make the movie. Don't sit and just do nothing and hope that the money drops and falls in your lap. You cannot operate that way. And you need to research what things cost. And just in today's prices, Joe, he said today's prices are yesterday's prices are not today's prices. But that also goes on several different levels. A camera yesterday in the early industry would run you close to 100,000, 20, 30,000. You have film cameras, cinema cameras that are between 1,500, actually 12 to 5,000. And you can just use the same camera. Some people are, I got to be able to use this. No, if you're the one making a movie, you don't have to do any of that. Buy you one camera or two, put the money, get two, and then find the people to use them. Now you got 2 camera shots and you're knocking them out. That means you're not shooting longer either, because you can cut time with multiple cameras. I remember being at a film festival. The gentleman said, we shot this in a weekend. It was a whole feature film. He had a distribution deal. Now it was with Maverick, but he had a distribution deal. a lot of people weren't getting them. If you don't know Maverick, research Maverick. If you know about Maverick, talk to different people about their deals with Maverick. Always talk to different people who had deals and ask them, are you happy with what you got?
Mm-hmm.
Don't just go with the first thing. We've brought people on the show and I've talked to personally was like, yo, I had this company, they talking to me, they want to do this, they sent me the contract, but did you sign this? And they're like, no. Oh, did I sign this? Because I ain't want to sign it anyway. This is some garbage. It's okay to say no. You got to. You have to. If you feel like you're going to lose. Now, if you feel like you're going to benefit, but listen, people, I hate these words. I remember somebody told me, this person called me and they said they'll give me a connection. Well, connections aren't cash. Connections don't pay bills. I got to have the lights on to edit your film. I have to have lights on to charge the battery to use the camera that's going to film your stuff. So connections don't pay bills. I don't, and people will use that. That's some old terms. Or let's collaborate. And I tell people straight up, here's what collaboration looks like to me. So what does it look like to you? Because I remember I had a conversation, and I tell you this not so you don't get hurt, so you don't have people walking over you. Collaboration looks like this to me. If I'm providing the things you need because you don't have those things, and I ask you to pay, and I expect you to pay, you need to bring the money. That's collaborate. That's a partnership. Partnerships is the other person brings what the other doesn't have. You don't have equipment. You don't have this, but you got money. If you don't have money and you ain't got equipment, what do you have? And don't tell me a story because everybody got one.
Everybody has a story. Oh, I got the next big story. It's gonna make you famous. I'm like, oh, really? Great.
Yeah. So I brought up this site to show you the Gorilla rate book. Mm-hmm. Again, the company rates, arrangements, labor unions rates for film and television. And it gives it to you. Okay, it's the 2023. So it changes every year because rates change, when rates change. But you can have an idea of rates. This will help you plan out your low budget and your budget for your films. You just plug in the union or who it is, and they tell you how much. Mm-hmm. So, and there's different companies that have these, but again, you can negotiate too. Don't ever think you can't negotiate, but just, I am a win-win negotiation person. I want the person I'm negotiating with to win just as much as I want to win. If we both winning, then I'm not duping you, right? And I learned a long time ago, way a man think it sows his heart. I think about everyone around me winning. That's why my heart is the way it is. That's why I'm comfortable saying no to some people. Because help the other person win. There's this, I don't know if y'all see Martin. There was this episode of Martin where they had to get the plumbing for the toilet fixed, and the plumber comes and he says, may not cost you a little, may not cost you a lot, but it'll cost you. Those are some philosophies I hold on to. Those are some things that stayed here. It was like, yeah, it's going to cost you. It's always going to cost you something. You should plan for a cost. And independent filmmakers, they walk in a room, I don't have. Well, why don't you? If you're young, I remember talking to a young filmmaker. They hadn't made a film yet. They were trying to do a short film. They wanted to talk to TK to help them flesh out the script from the work they were doing. And I said, when you talk to TK, it's going to cost. People time costs. I always tell them, it's going to cost you. May not cost you a little, may not cost you a lot, but it will cost you. And so, but they were like, well, I just, I did. And I said, what do you want to do? And then the thing is, they don't know. So that's the hard part. One of my friends did graphic design, logos. He still does it. But he said the worst customer is the one that comes and have no idea what they want. Because they don't want to spend the money, but that's going to cost you a lot of money. When you have no idea what you're doing and what you want, it costs more because that's time. It's time consuming. Talking to TK. TK, people come, they only know what they just want a movie. They have no outline, no.
I I had one guy. I was like, "What do you want the movie to be about?" And it's a motto. He wanted the movie to be about the motto. I was like, "Well, I can't make a movie about a motto.
Right.
So we're gonna have to tell a story. It can't be." It was so funny. I was just like, he paid his deposit, signed the paperwork, everything, and I was like, "This. So you don't know what we're writing about?" Like I was like, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is interesting." Hmm.
So that costs you when you have no idea. It's like somebody saying, I want a logo for my business. Okay. What's your model for your business? What's your motif? Um, what's your company line or slogan? Right. I don't know. Wait a second. What? What's your mission statement? What's your mission? What's your company's mission? I don't know.
What gets me is a lot of those I don't knows are they saw somebody do it and they think they
Mm.
can do it better. I literally watched an interview with a rapper and she was like, "So what made you want to rap? Get into the music industry and rap." He said, "Oh, I saw this video with such and such, such and such." And I say, "Shoot, I could do it better than him."
No, well, that's where I think people make the mistake is comparing themselves. I say the lack of is always the opportunity for. There's not enough movies about positive black men. That's a lack. There's an opportunity then. Make a
There's an
movie about
opportunity.
positive black men. That's all you gotta do. Look, Darrell said I walk in and I have to still get nothing at this point. I'm praying.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, like, and you know what? It's so funny the conversation I had with Leonard before we got on the show today. We were talking about because we started off in music, and I said, "Man, I had a vision. I could have did a movie called Prince and I, where this artist who wants to be in the music industry is following, trying to catch Prince, and all they would want to do is talk to Prince for a few minutes. That's the whole thing. That's the whole concept. They just want to talk to Prince." And when they finally meet up and get a chance to talk to Prince, they only get do it and own it. Because they couldn't say anything else. They didn't know what to say, but Prince told them. Because if you ever listen to all the music artists that have ever had a chance to talk to Prince and wanted to collaborate with him at some point, DMX, all of them. I mean, they all said, and they said that this guy dropped it. Said, own your catalog. Own your music. If you don't own it, there's nothing for me to talk to you about. Prince did this. Nas. Go look. Go research it. I'm telling you. And I have always, that philosophy for me came from Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke owned all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said that plenty of times. When I wanted to get into the music industry, my dad said, research Sam Cooke. Said, learn about Sam Cooke.
And you still can't. I think I forgot. They said Sam Cooke catalog, like you can't even. It's like so rare that anybody can have access to put like one of his songs in the movies or anything. Like it is rare.
I think the
Um,
only song
a friend
I
of mine,
seen a
a friend of
couple
mine
of
in
them.
the
Yeah,
music industry told me that.
yeah. The only song I remember hearing from Sam Cooke in most movies, and that's because it's tied to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, is "A Change Is Gonna Come."
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some songs like "You Send Me," but I don't hear a lot of his stuff in movies all
They
the
say
time.
it cost. It cost. I think the quote for a short film, a documentary. I think somebody. Oh, I can't. I don't want to misquote, so I'm not going to say. But it was high. They were like because they rarely allow his music to. So it's interesting because of course, if you watch the documentary on Netflix about who owns his catalog and stuff like that, I don't know if his family owns it back now and they're protecting it, but they do protect that particular catalog to make sure it's just not used for any and everything. And I love that. I really do because that's his legacy, and they want to
Yeah,
make sure. He already had. with surrounded by his death and all that stuff. It was already that. So they are doing their best to protect what they can when it comes to his legacy. So I'm like, kudos, kudos. But of
Mhm.
course, you have producers who can create the sound. So,
Let's
we
talk
always
about
keep that in mind.
creation time. Let's dive into creation because I do feel like things might be changing on the writer side because they did let in the AI aspect too, right? So now we have to consider. But here's the thing, this is why I tell people AI might be good, but if you don't have the skill set and you don't understand the basics of that skill that's necessary, having AI is just like you think it's pushing a button, but it isn't just that, because you can't refine it to make sure you're getting its purest art form or the creative aspect. Now you're throwing things together
Hmm.
and you're just going to throw it out there. Now here's the thing. So now, for my college students and my high school students and anybody else who wants to be a writer, they're now putting in some of the plagiarism software to determine whether an AI wrote it or a person wrote it. See, it I always say where there's a lack, there's an opportunity. Um, you didn't have companies that did background checks on the internet, right? For jobs. Then all of a sudden, people came along, was like, yeah, we'll develop a company that goes and researches people's, internet lifestyle and let companies know if this is somebody they really want to work for them. And it made them money. It makes them money doing it now.
Hmm.
And everybody's on the internet. That's where a lot of people's lives are located, on the internet. So same thing, you're writing, you're going to know if somebody can really write because people are going to try to take on jobs like public relations, like um, copyright, um, copyright editor, things like that. And what if they didn't write it? Now I know with AI, there's a certain percentage of your work that the AI can assist in writing. Keep that in mind. But
That's
yeah,
interesting.
mhm.
Then you don't have to hire consultants. The AI got you.
Maybe, but you got to remember the AI is pulling information from the web, which has not just good information, but a lot of bad information,
Hmm.
right? So you're
Right.
going to have to be able to decipher between what's good, what's bad, what works, what doesn't, because the AI is still learning. It's the whole point of artificial intelligence. It's constantly learning and improving. But if it doesn't learn what's bad, it's going to give you some of that bad stuff.
Yeah. It's got to be true. It was on the internet. Remember that commercial?
Yeah,
So,
that
yeah,
was
we always joke about
State
that. It's
Farm.
got to be true. Yeah, it's got to be true. It's on the internet. So it's like, it's got to be true. AI said it. And that's that's the world we're living in with the little cliff notes and the little, what do they call them when the people, they write papers now or they take pieces of information from articles? Um, it's a term where they're not reading the whole article. They'll read a clip of it and then they'll move to the next. So they will
Yeah, they
take
got
whatever
your
they
clip
read
notes or their quick
instead of the
synopsis. Yeah, give you the
yeah,
main
instead of the full
aspect.
context. Yeah, I forgot. It's a particular term. I forgot it because I
But
actually read an article on it.
that in itself is dangerous. You know, I want to. If you look at the film industry, but you look at media as a whole,
Hmm.
people tend to not get full context, and they make
Oh, we good at
decisions based
snippets.
off of lack of full context. Like just because you posted a video, I want to know what happened in the beginning and the end. What happened? That's the between. What happened? I want the handlebars. And the reason I want the handlebars is this: the handlebars tell me which way it's turning.
Hmm.
That's how a bike works. If I just get the middle of a bike, can I know which way it's turning? What got it to this point? How did it
Hmm.
turn this way? So if I just post, let's just say I just post one snippet that's 15 seconds of a guy hitting a girl. The whole world goes, oh, what shame on him. We did a bad thing. But if I show you before that, when he kept trying to get away from her and she backs him in a corner and she hit him several times, context
Mm-hmm.
changes. But the whole world can still go, he's wrong. He's a man. Wait, but don't we have gender equality?
Oh no, we be clapping. What was that movie? Tyler Perry, Family That Prays.
Mm-hmm.
When that man slapped that woman back across that counter, the whole theater clapped.
But and because they knew what she was doing to him in that film.
Yes,
But here's the crazy
yes.
part. But we have a belief that men shouldn't hit women. I don't think men should be running around hitting women. But what
No,
I'm
no,
saying is we understood the context in which it occurred.
no.
We
Right.
understood what was behind it. Now, maybe many of us didn't agree with that response. Oh, he could have handled it a different way. That's all right as people. But when we don't have the full context of a story, we miss something. I remember there
Absolutely.
was I remember there was a whole investigation with women abusing men in public, and women would walk by clapping, and the woman said, "Well, I think he deserved it. I knew he deserved it. There was something he did." And the
That's
guy,
pitiful.
it was the guy who did investigative stuff. He was from San Antonio, and it was like he said, "No, he didn't do anything." But you, in your mind, said he's getting hit by her because he cheated, he did something, but he did nothing. Or what if she's the abuser? And then they did the reverse, where the guy was being abusive, talking down on a woman, and everybody was jumping in. Hey, don't talk to her like that. That's not appropriate. Da, da, da. But no one jumped in when the woman did it, to
Mm-mm.
show the double standard of society. Again, our influence, films, all this.
Yep.
So it's like, what do we do, right? I like to balance things out when it comes to filmmaking. Like
Mm-hmm.
I believe in telling both sides of the story, or showing if society's lean this way heavily, I want to come over here a
Yep.
little bit and say, hey, this happens over here too. You know, don't
Yep.
just think it just happens. It's just because it's like the philosophy, all people do it, or all men cheat. I'm like, you have to first know all men in this world to even know that if that's true or not. The fact that the word all is in there makes it a false statement. You didn't learn anything from school, you should have learned that. As soon as you put all in there, it makes it a false statement. But
Yep.
especially people you can't account for. But that's the thing about filmmaking and media. So you have AI, you have um, what's going on with the unions or the WGA currently, because that will impact the other unions. Keep in
Yep.
mind, this one thing
Absolutely.
impacts everything else. Like as the Writers Guild, what happens to them affects the Directors Guild. Will it turn around affect SAG, which is Stage Actors Guild? So because again, actors aren't all getting paid consistently either.
Mm-mm.
That was a big issue a few years back with SAG wanting to go on strike because of streaming. So streaming has really shifted our industry. So this is where I'm telling to filmmakers, you need to do some research. You need to see what you're going to pay. You need to think about the win-win for you and your actors. Don't pretend with it. Be real. Be real with it.
Be
Be
real.
authentic.
Absolutely.
If you don't have money, like when I did my first film, I didn't really have money. But you know what I did do? I fed people. Sometimes I gave them gas money, right? I
Yep.
did what I could do. So it's okay to do that. And I promoted them. Here's what I mean by I promoted them. If I worked with somebody and I couldn't pay them, I made sure that they got gigs with other people. Now I did tell people, if you were not showing up on time, if you're doing this, I got to tell the truth, because that's my reputation online too. So if you canceled your date on set and somebody asked me, well, how were they working with as an actor? I would say, well, they canceled a couple times. They showed up late a couple times, because that's the truth. That's the reality. And you want people to understand that that work ethic impacts everybody, not just you. And you, if you're
Mhm.
willing to do that, that's bad business. Think about this. I say this to even the young people. Remember that everything you put out in the world, you get back.
Exactly. Exactly.
So never give less than your very best. Because if you want the best out of others, then you give the best.
Absolutely. That's one thing I don't play with is people's time, and I don't play people's money.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure if I'm committed, I'm committed. I make sure I keep, I do my best to keep my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I keep my word. Because, like you said, this industry is small, way smaller than what you think it is. Literally, Tamika, there's a guy I know out of Detroit that I work with on a film, and I actually talked to him a couple of weeks ago about being a character in one of my films I'm going to shoot. And I see Tamika showed the trailer of her being at the film festival in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, tell my friend Diesel, I said, tell Diesel you're my friend and tell him I said hi. And Tamika's like, girl, I bumped into him at the elevator at 1 a.m. going to get snacks downstairs at the hotel. And I cracked up laughing. And when I told him, he was like, man, this industry is so, and we're independent, we're still all mainly independent. Well, Tamika's not independent,
Mm-hmm.
but she's independent, but she's not. She's,
She'll live both. She's in the
yeah,
middle.
because she's in DC Patrol, as a character and Wonder Years and all, some other stuff. So, but it was funny. I was like, so word travels fast. And I'm going to tell people, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real with you. I will say, don't work with that person. And people that know me, I mean, if you know me, you know me. So if I tell you not to work with somebody, or if I tell you got to watch this person or this, and that, or make sure you have a firm conversation before you invite this person to your set, I said what I said. You can tell them I said it. I could care less because it is what it is. I don't play with people's time. I do not play with people's money. And I'm not going to let anybody else do it.
Mm-hmm.
Period. This industry is hard enough already for us to have flaky people that want to come in and just do what they want to and not give their best to the project. We work too hard to get where we are. We work too hard to create legacy for our name. We worked extra, extra hard to even secure this budget for this movie. So I'm not going to let anybody come on your set, my set, nobody, and mess it up. Because we're all a team. We're all a team, and it takes all of us, and we all got to give our very best to make it happen. That is my gym.
There you go.
You see,
TK's
I did
gym.
that.
Yeah. And you know what? It's to me, it's being authentic. It's being real with people. Like if I can't afford to cover certain expenses, I'll figure something out. But I've talked to people well ahead of time.
Yes.
And it depends on, it's not something that's going to pop up later. Because I've seen that. All of a sudden people go, well, I can't pay you right now. Well, wait a second. That's not what you agreed to. I know. No, it's not you know. You don't know. Because if you knew, you wouldn't be telling me this right now.
Exactly.
So don't do it. Up front, be up front. And let that person say no. Listen, whoever you're hiring, whoever you're going to work with, you're not working with them because of what they have. And if that's because
Right.
you're doing it, then you need to go get it yourself. Don't work with somebody just because they own a camera. That's foolishness. You can release a camera. But I get it. You want to work with them because they got the camera. It'll be free.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Work with people because of their skill, because of what they bring and add to it. Respect their time. Be upfront. If you're upfront, then let them decide if they want to continue working with you.
Absolutely. And that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Definitely goes a long way.
The moment you do that, then the relationship can go. It's like, hey, I didn't make all the money I was trying to raise to do this project. Let those actors and stuff decide. Hey, we still want to keep doing this project, so we'll help you through it.
Absolutely.
You will be surprised if people believe in what you're doing and see the investment, they will come through. But if you're on some shady tip, they're going to fall through and they're going to let other people know.
Absolutely. Sure will.
Yeah. And so you just, and so what basically today's show, to wrap it up, do some research, learn about what people are making as union, and then consider what you're paying people non-union, consider what negotiations you're doing. And again, I'm a win-win person. Okay?
Absolutely.
If we're all winning, then it'll help. Like there's time when I met TK, I said, hey, I can't pay you this much, but I'll do it this much.
Mm-hmm.
And then can I do it this way? And then she had to decide. Yeah. And then I said, well, I also will send you people. And guess what I do?
Absolutely.
I will send her people.
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's what you got to do. And you got to tell those people, hey, don't go waste my people's time. Like, you ain't got no money, then just say, okay. But don't go wasting their time.
Absolutely.
So time is money. Money is time. And keep thinking about it like that. So remember to be strategic, authentic, and intentional. Or strategic, intentional, and authentic. That's
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the wrong order. My bad.
Yeah.
My
strategic, intentional, and authentic. That's this.
Strategic, intentional, and authentic.
So do that. That's my 60-second gem right there.
Yay.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If
Yes,
if there's any topics you would like for us to discuss in the near future, let us know. We're going to be bringing some guests on soon. So, excuse me. So we getting on our grind, but you got to also bear with us because we are working on our own stuff. So things are going to kind of start shifting in schedules. So we have to kind of respect that. But we will not abandon you because we want to see what you got going on and support that.
Absolutely.
And if you missed our Zoom call this past Tuesday, it was good. It was great. It was not a lot of people there, but it was a lot of people there. I don't know what a lot is. It was at least like 8 of us.
It was it 8, 9 of us? Or, I don't know.
Yeah,
but the last time has been like 18.
Yeah.
But we're going to set an actual date. I'm always scared to set an actual set date because I'm always scared I'm not going to make, like, something may happen. But I'm going to go ahead and set an actual, like, the third Thursday of every month. So we're going to put it out there. So that way it'll always be, oh, there's a third Thursday. That's, Black Filmmakers Roundtable. So, but we're coming into the summer mark. So we'll figure it out and we'll keep you guys.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Because I know some people were like, I can't make during the week. So that was why some people didn't hop on.
I gotcha. So so we may just do Sunday evenings, and then if I can't be there or Michael can't be there, then we have other people that can step up. So that's what we're going to end up.
We'll work that out. But
we'll work it out and keep you guys updated.
For those who did join us this past Tuesday, thank you. We appreciate you, and we hope you got something out of it. Because we wanted to hear more from them. That's the whole point. You hear from us on Saturdays. We wanted to hear from y'all.
Absolutely.
So enjoy your Saturday. Like, subscribe, share. The best way to support what we do is to share, even though we were going to start posting some Patreon or Cash App or whatever. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But we're going to make some slight changes to improve what it is we do and how we do it. But we appreciate y'all first and foremost. And thank you for joining us here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge, Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. I'm your host, Michael Melville. My co-host, Tamara TK Henderson. Bam! My sister right. Wait, did I do it that way? Bam! My sister right there. She's always great. She's always awesome. I appreciate her. Leonard, again, happy birthday. But I got to say this one more time. I appreciate you, TK, because you're awesome. You're wonderful. We do what we do. And your hair matches the color of my shirt today. So thank you. That's my sister right there, y'all. All right. We love y'all. Like, subscribe, share. Have a blessed Saturday. Enjoy that sun. Go out and film something. Watch out for the pollen, the allergies, because it's been hitting me. And do what you do. We love y'all. We out. Peace.
Like, subscribe, and share.